and welcome to Hopkinton Works. I'm Elaine Lazarus, Hopkinton's town manager, and I'm glad to be here and share insights and information on what makes Hopkinton work. On this episode, I'll be talking with Jed Fenniff, the town's water and sewer manager. Welcome, Jed.
Hello, thank you.
To start with, could you please describe what you do for the town?
So I oversee the operation, maintenance, and regulatory compliance of the water distribution system and the wastewater collection system.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit about your professional background and how you came to be in this field?
Sure. So out of high school, I joined the Army National Guard, and I served in the 181 Engineer Battalion for 7 years. And then I worked for a pipe supply company here in town, and I worked there for 10 years where I learned everything about the underground utility industry. And then from there, I went to the town of Framingham as a water technician. And when I left Framingham, I came here, and I've been here for 15 years.
And what is it that interested you in this field?
I would say this field is so interesting because water and sewer are the cornerstones of our society, and it's foundational to a successful society. So because it's such an important thing and we affect people's lives directly, it really makes, gives me a good feeling to work in this line of work.
And is there a typical path for someone to get into this, or how can someone enter this profession?
So what I would recommend if somebody was interested is you could look into the associations like American Water Works or New England Water Works, which is based out of Holliston, or the Mass Water Works Association. All those associations have training, and they can tell you, they'll have like a calendar where they actually go to job fairs. So if students were interested, there's so many facets to our line of work: engineering, operations, chemistry, everything, you name it, construction. So I would start with those associations. Look, that you can also get your license through those associations. You can get your drinking water license. And then one I didn't mention was NEWIPCC, New England Interstate Water Pollution Control Commission. And you can go on there and learn of what you would need to do to be able to get certified to work in this field.
So that it seems really interesting then. I mean, these are really important systems that people depend on for their daily lives. So there's licensing required, and certifications because of the public safety, public health, and other aspects of that. What might attract people to this work, and what do you find rewarding about it?
The thing that attracts me is our work affects people in their everyday lives. Like what we do on a daily basis, whether people realize it or not, like they're seeing our work every day when you turn on the faucet or when you flush your toilet. So I think the attraction would be, serving a community, and it's rewarding to supply people with one of the most important things is drinking water and the proper removal of sewer.
And then with regard to Hopkinton's systems in general, specifically in Hopkinton, so we have water and we have sewer, and not all residents receive both or all services, and the same for businesses. So is part of the town served by town water and part not served by it?
Yeah, so I think it's somewhere around 40% on the sewer system, but we have 4,000 water connections. Our water comes from 8 drinking water wells, and we also purchase water from the town of Ashland, the House Street treatment plant. And we have 8 sewer pumping stations. And, there's different parts of the town that, aren't on the municipal sewer and water.
And so on water are all our town buildings, including the schools as well?
Most of them, yeah, most of the public buildings are on town water.
So people may receive even if someone gets their water from a private well, for example, they're still, going to a public building and
Yes.
using those services as well.
Absolutely.
So the water comes from several wells, groundwater wells that we have around town, and some from Ashland. And then where does our sewer go?
So our sewer collects all around town, and it flows to our Wood Street pump station. And from our Wood Street pump station, it pumps up Saddle Hill Road, and there's a diversion structure there. And part of our sewer goes to Westboro. The bulk of it goes to Westboro. And then a small portion goes to our Fruit Street wastewater treatment plant. Right now we're operating at, say, 40,000 gallons a day, but I believe it can be upgraded in the future for more use. So the flow that goes to the sewer treatment plant, what happens there? How does it get treated, and then where does it go? So the wastewater treatment plant receives the influent. It goes through the headworks and goes through the treatment process, and then it goes out into a retention field and basically recharges back into the aquifer.
So when it exits, is it drinkable?
Clean water.
Clean
yep.
water. Okay. All right. And then the flow that goes to Westboro, does it undergo a similar process?
That goes to the Westboro treatment plant, and it goes through a process there as well.
Okay. So in both cases, it comes out as clean water and
Yep.
gets infiltrated into the ground
Yep.
or a stream, perhaps. Could you tell us about something you're currently working on or have worked on recently?
Yeah, so we are making a great effort to update our GIS system, our Geographical Information System, and we are trying to digitize all our records, and we are trying to go throughout the town and geolocate all our assets, hydrants, gate valves, water mains, and all that stuff, and that allows us to help operate the system, track things, keep data. So that's been this last year, we've been really working close with the IT department is a big help to us, and we work with private engineering firms. We've done a lot of work. We just recently last year geolocated all of our gate valves, which was a part of a project where we're working towards creating a flushing program. So once you have all these assets located, you can put and track data, and if you operate something and it doesn't work, you can create work orders from the GIS system. So we're really trying to move to where we digitize all our plans and make them available. So if, say we have a contractor meeting where we're on site and the contractor has a question about connections, we can click on those assets, view the digital plans, and better serve the community by really having all that information right at our fingertips. We can, the IT department set us up with tablets, so we keep a tablet in our truck and we can go out to the field and have that stuff readily available. And where it really is a huge benefit is in emergency response. So in the old days, you would have what's called a gate book, and you would keep that gate book in your truck, and you'd have to go page by page. Now, if we update our GIS system properly, we can drive right out on site. Our tablet will recognize our location, and it'll show all those assets that we need. So if we have to isolate a water main break, all that information is right there at our fingertips, which is amazing.
So do we have some of that information now and we're getting additional information?
Partial, yes. So over the course of the last decade, we've tried to digitize all of our, paper plans, and we've tried to, with the help of IT, digitize all of our what we would call like tie cards. And the IT department has attached all those tie cards to parcels. And the new assistant manager has been working on attaching the actual plans, so you can overlay when you look in an area on the GIS system, you can actually see an overlay of the plans and how things lay in. So it's quite amazing, and it's worth the effort.
That sounds great. And you mentioned paper plans. How old is the town's water system?
So we still have some water main in operation from 1880,
Wow.
which is amazing. And a large portion of the water system, a lot of those water mains were put in before 1950. So we have an aging infrastructure.
How much is a lot of that original infrastructure left, or is just a smaller portion? Or?
I don't know if I'd be able to put a percentage on it, but the town has made a great effort in doing water main replacements. The one water main we have on the docket now is to do East Main Street, which is a large project. But as far as being able to percent-wise, I think we got a ways to go to continue to update to where we get into a good position where we're on a good timeline of replacing water mains, in a certain timeline.
Wow. And is the sewer system younger than the water
Yes,
system?
it is. I think the bulk of that work started, in and around the 80s. So it's definitely newer compared to, 100 years newer compared to the water system.
That'd be the
Yes.
1980s.
Yes,
Instead
yes.
of the 1880s.
1980s, yes, exactly.
Wow. And then, any current goals or projects on the sewer side that are ongoing? I guess the water and sewer is all being located.
Yeah, the thing we're dealing with now is I&I, infiltration, and we're trying to update our Hayden Row sewer station. One of the projects that we've worked on to help try and locate the I&I is we have purchased what they call smart manhole covers. And what these smart manhole covers do is you can put them out in the field. They go underneath and inside the manhole, and it uses ultrasonic measuring devices. And we can measure the flow inside the manhole, and we're hoping that using these smart manhole covers that we can track where this I&I is coming, because what's happening is some of our areas that are hit harder with this I&I, it's really taking a toll on the sewer station itself, and it has a hard time to keep up. So we've been really trying to dig in to try to find this infiltration, and that's one of the ways that we've gone about it, is these smart manholes and using technology.
Is that is that stormwater that's entering the system, or?
It would be like, rainwater going in. So what we've seen is some of the roadway surfaces around the manholes, can deteriorate, and then the water comes in through the structure itself, like through the bricks, through cracks in the road. So hopefully we can identify those areas. Like we have Hayden Row is being resurfaced, and part of that resurfacing, we're trying to rebuild the manholes, and rebuilding those manholes and using grout new brick that should keep some of that water from entering on the Hayden Row side. And then we'll keep working on, we started out with 3 of the smart manhole covers. We put them on an intersection where all directions ran back to the Hayden Row sewer treatment, the sewer pump station. So we're able to kind of track where that water's coming from. But we haven't really had any severe rain events to be able to track it since we've put them in. So we're waiting for one of those rain events to happen to be able to kind of see if we can put a finger on where the infiltration's coming from.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. Didn't know they were doing that.
Yes.
Great. So water and sewer systems are highly regulated. What agencies regulate our water and sewer systems, and how does it affect our infrastructure?
So the DEP is our main regulator, and with oversight from the US EPA. And we work directly with the regulators from the Mass DEP. We strive every day to meet compliance and, follow the rules and regulations. And, they're always there to help, and just an email away if we're struggling with, we need information or help with things. So we have a really good relationship with them on both sides, water and sewer. And when every 3 years we have to do a sanitary survey, and we try to operate our stations so that, we operate them every day and try to maintain them, that we could do a sanitary survey any day of the week and pass with flying colors.
So before the town can, bring a new well online or find a source and so forth, it has to go through a lengthy process with the state and also the federal government, or just the state?
I believe we deal directly with the state on the permitting for if we wanted a new well, and we had talked earlier about where the sewer plant goes, and they track things like recharging the aquifer. So we pump out so much water in a year, and part of your permit is they want you to recharge. So that is partially why we have that wastewater treatment plant, is to recharge back into the aquifer on the DEP's recommendation.
Okay, very interesting. And then that permitting process through the state, I imagine that takes a lot of effort and work and some time as well.
Yes, our DPW director, Carrie Reed, she's works closely with all these things and has foresight to try to catch issues before they happen, and same idea. She works closely with the regulators to make sure we're working within our permits and all that.
And what are some of the challenges that our systems face?
The two main things are the growth and capacity. So the town has grown, as we all know, in leaps and bounds. And what I would say is the town's initial design, we've outgrown what the intended purpose of the initial systems, both water and sewer. And the other issue I would say is capacity. And we can keep up with the essential use. So this time of year, nobody's running outside water. We're doing right around, pumping right around 1 million gallons a day, and we can keep up with that. What we can't keep up with is the non-essential use, and what that part of that non-essential use would be, like outside water and lawn irrigation. And what we're finding is the demand has almost caught up with our capacity, and that puts you kind of in a risky situation where you have an emergency and you can't keep up with it. So water conservation is something very important that we should all consider, and remember, our water system is mainly for drinking water and firefighting, and we have to make sure we have enough water for that. So all the people could help us with conserving water.
What are some things that they can do?
Limit the irrigation to basically you can go on Google and find out how much water your lawn needs to be healthy, and you'll see how small of amount it needs. So maybe restricting the amount of days, making sure you're following our water bans. Say specifically right now, we're in a level 2 water ban, and we've been like that for almost 2 years now. So it's important that you follow, when we do have a water ban, follow those restrictions.
And are there ways that people can, when they're considering landscaping or other water use in the home, things that they can install or plant that use less
Yeah.
water?
Yeah, I mean, most stores you can get like water saving faucets. You can get them for your shower heads, and a lot of landscapers now, like, you can tell them when you're laying out, you can do like water conservation type beds, that don't need as much water.
And if someone is on the water system and they have irrigation systems for their lawn, so when there's a water ban and if that irrigation system is connected, they won't be able to use the irrigation system.
Exactly.
So that could be an issue.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. What are some of the challenges and opportunities that are presented in your work and in your profession?
The opportunities is that you get to serve the people, and I think that's what drives me. The work that we do affects people in their everyday lives, and it's really important work. And I kind of fell in love with it early on in my career, and I made the decision that I wanted to get my license and come into this line of work. So it's very rewarding in that sense, that what you're doing is providing, our community with, two very important resources, water and the removal of sewer.
And I think it's also important that, when you think about it, the water that, we're drinking, it comes from right here.
Yeah.
And so we're responsible for it and stewards of that
That's right.
system.
And it's very important to take care of it the best that we can, because it works better for us when we also treat those systems well. And when you get into situations where you're over pumping wells, like, the quality diminishes as well. So we have to consider that.
Is there anything that you'd like to tell us about that I haven't asked?
I feel that the community is very lucky in the team that the town has assembled. We have some amazing people with exceptional skills. And our line of work is, one of the main duties that we do is, emergency response. And these people that work for the DPW, water, sewer, and highway, a lot of times are really forced to work extra hours and do things, and sometimes they put their own family on the back burner to come in and do these very important jobs. And I have to say, working next to these people every day is inspiring, because the people that I see are so committed to what they do and so dedicated that, it makes me really proud. Like, when we go out onto a job and, everybody's there together, like, there's good camaraderie in our team, and we can all depend on each other, and it makes the job nice, having that team and that camaraderie.
And how big is your team?
So right now, we've grown recently. Right now we have 10 people
That's great.
in the water and sewer, yes.
And I echo everyone who works there is just so helpful and really committed to the work that they do.
Yes, they are.
So how can people learn more about what you do? If someone reach out and contact you if they'd like to talk about the systems?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've done tours in the past. We have the new PFAS treatment plant. We've taken Kerry's organized tours with college groups. Eric has always in the past, our former manager, Eric Hardy, he was always great in working with the schools. We're totally open to that and would love to, we're proud of what we do, and we would love to tell people about it. Mm-hmm. So they could come down to the DPW, email us, and would be happy to show them the DPW, and, we're proud of it.
And there's, imagine, a lot of information on your website too, and also water quality reports and so forth are there as well?
Yes. We have the CCR, and all that information is right online, available for the public.
So people can see the water quality that they're
Yes.
receiving and make sure it complies with all the regulations as well.
That's right.
Great. Well, thank you for joining us today, and have a good day. Thank you.